A Short History of Nearly Everything, which in my view is the best short popular history book of science ever. Ever.
Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. And on this channel we explore the realms of immersive stories, popular science books that help us live an intriguing, happier and more productive life. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving deep into the cosmos as we explore the short history of nearly everything by Bill Bryson. I'm Vishnu, and if you're a fellow science enthusiast or just love a good read, you're in for a treat. So let's get started. So before we get into the review, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. Please ring the notification bell so you'll never miss out on the literary explorations of these popular science books. So now let's talk about the short history of nearly everything. Bill Bryson takes us on an extraordinary journey, unraveling the mysteries of the entire universe, from the tiniest part to the vastness of the space. This book is not just a scientific masterpiece, but it's a narrative adventure that makes complex notions into that's fit for everyone. One of the highlights of Bill Bryson's work is his writing style. He effortlessly weaves scientific facts with humor and amazing storytelling. It's like having a scientific conversation with one of your favorite scientific professors. They sometimes give you that essence of science that makes you that more inspired. This is what Bill Bryson does for us, or only more entertaining. So now let's talk about some key concepts. Bill Bryson covers everything from the Big Bang to the evolution of life, exploring the wonders of quantum physics and then the mechanics and intricacies of the DNA.
I wrote another completely different kind of book, which Paul mentioned, which you are perhaps more likely to be familiar with, called A Short History of Nearly Everything, which was my attempt to understand the world and the universe around it and how they both got to be the way they are. Or as I put it in the book, how we went from there being nothing at all to there being something, and then how a little of that something eventually turned into us. Now, one of the things that particularly fascinated me was how scientists figure things out. How do you know where the continents were 300 million years ago, or how hot it is on the surface of the sun, or what goes on at the heart of a gene, or what was happening in the universe in its first 3 minutes? How do you even know that the universe had the first 3 minutes and hasn't just been there forever? How does anybody figure these things out? And so the book became a kind of quest to find out not only what we know, but how we know what we know. And so for about 4 years, I did almost nothing but try to understand science and its achievements. I traveled to 11 countries on 5 continents, read lots and lots of books and journals and transcripts and monographs, and asked enormous amounts of strikingly uninformed questions to kind and patient experts from a variety of disciplines from many of the world's leading institutions. I didn't have any particular outcome in mind, no axe to grind or anything like that. I was just trying to pack an empty mind with as much interesting information as it could hold. But in doing the book, I found myself being drawn again and again to certain inescapable, elemental, but really quite important conclusions about the universe we live in and our part in it, including 4 basic but really remarkable facts. I think they may be the 4 most remarkable facts there are. And for what it is worth, I thought I would share them with you today. Now, I hesitate to bring them up at all, frankly, because they're so very obvious. But I'm hoping there might be some value in your hearing, what an outsider like me found most profound and compelling in my 4-year visit to your world, the world of science. So here, without ado, they are my 4 most exciting takeaways about the world and the universe we inhabit. First, we exist. We're alive. That's really quite an amazingly marvelous thing to be able to say when you stop to think about it. For you to be here now, trillions and trillions of drifting atoms had somehow to come together to make you. Why your atoms do this for you is obviously a puzzle. Being you is not a gratifying experience for the atom. An atom doesn't know you, it doesn't even know you're there. It doesn't even know that it is there. Atoms are mindless particles after all. They don't know a thing. Yet somehow, for the length of your existence, these tiny devoted particles will engage in all the delicate cooperative efforts necessary to keep you humming, to make you you, to give you form and shape, and let you enjoy the rare and supremely agreeable condition known as life. That's pretty wonderful. But having obliging atoms is only part of the good fortune that got you here this afternoon. You've also been incredibly lucky genealogically, ancestrally. Statistically speaking, you shouldn't be here at all. None of us should. Of all the billions of species of organism that have sprung up on Earth in its long productive history, 99.99% are extinct. They are gone forever. It is a curious fact of our existence that we come from a planet that is very good at creating life, but even better at extinguishing it. The average species on this planet, it has been calculated, lasts for only about 4 million years. If you wish to last longer, as we most assuredly do, then you must continually recreate yourself. You must be prepared to change everything that defines you: shape, size, color, physiology, diet, metabolism, everything. And to do so repeatedly, in the right sequence, at precisely the right historical moments. For us to be here now, it has been necessary for our ancestors to make all kinds of wholesale adjustments, all of them random, none of them inevitable or even necessarily logical, but every one of them necessary to get us here today. But even that's not enough. You've also got nearly 4 billion years of personal reproductive good fortune behind you. Consider the obvious fact that for you to be here now, your parents had to bond in a specifically timely manner, as did their parents before them and theirs before them, and so on back to the dawn of time. Had any of these people mated on a different day or a different hour, possibly at a different moment, certainly with a different mate, you couldn't possibly be here now. You are, in short, at the end of a very long line of successful pairings going all the way back to the days when you were a unicellular, microscopic blob. That's quite a winning streak when you think about it. Every one of your ancestors since the dawn of time has been attractive enough to find a mate, robust enough to reproduce, and sufficiently blessed by fate and circumstance to live long enough to do so. Not one of them, not one, on either side, was squashed, devoured, stranded, starved, stuck fast, pipped by a more glamorous suitor, spurned or otherwise deflected from its life's quest of delivering a tiny charge of genetic material to the right partner at the right moment to perpetuate the only possible sequence of hereditary combinations that could result, eventually, astoundingly, and all too briefly, in you. Now, I don't wish to belabor the point, but life is a damn lucky thing. Your existence is a miracle, and you shouldn't let a day pass that you don't rejoice in having it. Excuse me. Which brings me to my second amazing fact. Life doesn't happen anywhere else in the universe, as far as we know. Now, that really is odd. The atoms that so eagerly and congenially clump together to form living things on Earth seem wholly disinclined to do it elsewhere. Of course, the evidence isn't all in yet. So far, astronomers have found only about 5,000 planets beyond our own solar system. It was only about 24 when I wrote A Short History of Nearly Everything, out of the 10 billion trillion or so that are thought to exist. So we can hardly claim to have searched every corner of the cosmos. But it is certainly the case that the only life that has turned up so far, and very possibly ever will, is found on a single unprepossessing blue planet in a nameless solar system 2/3 of the way out from the center of the Milky Way. That's not much in a great big universe, particularly when you consider that all the life on that small blue planet is found almost exclusively in a wispy film of water and atmosphere around the surface. If you imagine the Earth shrunk down to the size of a standard desktop globe, then the atmosphere is only about the thickness of 2 or 3 coats of varnish. All the rest of the universe that we know of is deeply, instantaneously inimical to life. In a word, we live in a universe that doesn't seem to want us here. That's quite a daunting thought. The likelihood, of course, is that there is other life out there in the universe at large, probably quite a lot of it. With 10 billion trillion planets to choose from, the statistical probability is that there's not just millions of advanced civilizations in the universe at large, but billions. The trouble is that phrase, at large. Space, it turns out, is extremely well named. That there may be no other detectable life in the universe, but there is an almost impossible abundance of it here. For we live on a planet that is so rich in life that we don't even begin to know how much life it actually holds. Can't even begin to guess. Some years ago, a pair of Norwegian scientists, Josef Gassgaard and Vigdis Torsvik, conducted a simple but really quite stunning experiment. They went out into a beech forest near their lab in Bergen and scooped up a gram of soil and analyzed it microscopically. They found that this one small sample of Norwegian soil contained between 4,000 and 5,000 separate bacterial species, more than the total number of species listed in the standard bacteriological manual of the time. Then they went a few miles away to the seaside, scooped up another gram of soil, and found over 4,000 other species. They had, in effect, with 2 small scoops of earth, doubled the number of known species of soil bacteria at that time. That is surely the happiest paradox of our existence, that life is so rare in the universe at large, but so magnificently rich and abundant and varied here on earth. The next time you're out of doors in a green space, just take a moment and look around you and marvel, I beg you, marvel at the staggering elegance and diversity and beauty, the exquisite, unimprovable glory that is life on earth. It is hard to believe that you could ever get any better than this. And that brings me to my 4th point, the last one I will burden you with here today, that all life comes from a single moment of creation. Some 3.8 billion years ago, in some bubbling mud pot or deep ocean vent, some little bag of chemicals twitched and became animate, and then miraculously reproduced itself. Everything that lives now on Earth, or ever has lived, descends from that moment. We're all built from a single original blueprint. I don't believe there is a more important or remarkable fact in the natural world, indeed any world, than that one. So those are the 4 things that filled me with a sense of wonder about the universe of ours, that made me appreciate the privilege and inexpressible good fortune of just being alive. You'll have your own list, I know, the things that gripped and excited you as youngsters and led you, very sensibly in my view, to pursue science as a profession. My one message to you here today is never to lose sight of that sense of wonder, the magic of what you're doing, not to mention the importance. It cannot be said too often. Science and science alone tells us who we are, how we got here, where we are going, and what we need to do to get to where we want to go. If we're going to have a world worth living in 20 or 30 or 50 years from now, it will be science that gets us there. And you will be the people who make that happen. So on behalf of the 8 billion other inhabitants of this singular, lovely, and very lonely planet, I would just like to say thank you. You're heroes, or at least you had better be.
What sets this book apart is Bill Bryson's ability to connect the scientific to the personal. He introduces us to the brilliant minds that are behind the discoveries. He shares their stories and humanizes the whole production of their discovery and their scientific process. It's not just about the facts, but it's also about the people who discovered them. Even those people that are less mentioned, he seems to mention these people that have had some sort of effect that not many people know about. So I really love this book. As appealing as you listen to Bill Bryson's book, it allows you to picture and create a visual image in your mind as you read it or as you listen to it. Bill Bryson's descriptions are so vivid and as if you are there yourself, as you're passing through time with him as he goes through the wonders of every scientific discoveries, every scientific phenomenon, whether it's the microcosmic world or the vastness of the space and time continuum. His words paint so many pictures that linger in your mind. So no book is perfect. You might find it to have a sheer volume of scientific knowledge, but Bill Bryson does balance depth with accessibility. It's a journey, and like all journeys and adventures, they have their challenges, but it's still a lovely read. In conclusion, A Short History of Everything by Bill Bryson is a literary gem that combines storytelling and humor, wit and cleverness throughout. Whether you're a seasoned scientist or just starting your scientific career, or just someone who is interested in how we got to where we are now, this is the book that you must read. So there you have it, our review of The Short History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson. Have you read the book? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow bookworms. So if you like this video, you'll like my recent videos. So until next time, keep exploring the wonderful world of science, literature, and the universe. So this is Bishnu signing off. Take care. See yous.